Thank you so much, Andrew, for the very awesome introduction. Just first, let me just introduce myself. My name is
Pause, stop your video.
Somehow my video. Okay, let me start restart. Okay,
right.
Now you can see me. So my name is Ahara Siripan, and I'm from BizWings, Thailand. And together with me is Junosuke Kurashi, the CEO. And it's our pleasure to co-host this event together with Andrew. And I think RCEP and Thailand has a lot to say about these events, and we really hope that you will be benefit you somehow. And I hope that this session will be informative for you. So without
start screen.
Yeah, let me just start sharing our screen and let's just get started. So just we plan that our presentation will be roughly 15 minutes, and then maybe more or less, and at the end we will leave another 15 minutes for Q&A session.
Can you guys see? Does it?
Yep,
No.
we can see it perfect.
It doesn't. Oh, you need to make a full screen, right?
Already did.
I mean, she said that it looks like that. You may do the full screen. Can you do this? Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, so now it works. Okay, so let me just get started. So RCEP, or the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, is the free trade area. But what's special about it is it's comprised of 15 member countries, which means 10 ASEAN countries plus 3 and plus 2. And by plus 3, it means China, South Korea, and Japan. And another 2, which is New Zealand and Australia. And this agreement was signed last November in Vietnam. The significance and importance of this agreement is because the population of the 15 member countries combined aggregated to 3.5 billion people, which is accounted for around 30% of the world population. And also this roughly contributed to 30% of the global trade and 30% of the global GDP too. This itself makes the RCEP the largest trading bloc in the world right now. And also what's special about RCEP is that this is the first time that the free trade agreement was signed between Japan and China, and also between Japan and South Korea. And we expect that the free trade that is happening between the 3 largest Asian economies, such as China, South Korea, and Japan, will bring a lot of increasing in the volume of trade into the region as well. So let me move on to the key highlights. RCEP is actually aiming to reduce the custom duty. Actually, they want to eliminate the custom duty altogether, but since there is still steps in order to get there, so they aim to reduce as much as possible the custom duty between the among the member countries. They also aim to remove all the non-tariff measures, such as embargoes, embargoes or quotas or the licensing restriction, and so on and so forth. Also, RCEP aims to increase the transparency and the trade facilitation. So RCEP calls for the members to make the import and export procedure become as transparent as possible, and also accelerate the custom clearance process in all of the countries. Also, another thing that is worth mentioning is the rules of origin. This is the first time that all 15 countries will have the common rules of origin, and this will enable the member country to utilize the benefits in an easier manner. Also, RCEP aims to liberate the trade in service among members too. And also it enhanced the business environment through the regulation relating to intellectual property protection, government procurement practices, and also the e-commerce. But let me just focusing on the two areas where I think is very, very important. The first one is the tax reduction scheme. As I said earlier, RCEP tried to eliminate the tax, but somehow it cannot happen from day one. So we expect that 65% of the goods being traded in the RCEP countries right now will be reduced immediately to 0%. Another 20% of goods being traded in RCEP will be continuously reduced to 0% within 10 years. The remaining 15%, however, are the goods that is considered sensitive for each of the countries. So each of the country will specify the list of the goods that they wouldn't participate or not yet want to participate in the tax reduction scheme. Even though RCEP itself have the intention to ongoing negotiate for this sensitive list to start reducing tax as well, but then there is no commitment in terms of the timeline. Another area that I want to highlight is the rules of origin. And for the rules of origin, it used to be that under the separate free trade agreement, the rule of origin will specify the minimum percentage of the required resource that constitute of the final value of the product. So let's say if we say it's 40%, the free trade among Thai and Japan, like JTEPA, it means that actually the resource that go into the production of this product must be at least 40% sourced from either Japan or Thailand. But under RCEP, this rule still applies, but the producer will have more opportunity to source from 15 members country. And this is a big thing because now it's easier for them to find the raw material or resources among the 15 countries and still can enjoy the benefit under RCEP. So from this alone, we expect a lot of threats that will coming in based on the change of the rules of the origin. So what can we expect from RCEP? It is estimated that there will be a lot of trade volumes that comes in from the fact that the three biggest economy in Asia start trading among each other under the free trade agreement. We also expect that the real income in 2030 in Asia alone will be 165 billion US dollars. So that is pretty big, and this is the reason why TGS and also BizWings is very keen on talking about this as well. So regarding when will RCEP take effect, the RCEP will be officially enter into force 60 days after the agreement is ratified. Even though the 15 members already signed, but then all of the member countries have to ratify the agreement. So when 6 out of the 10 ASEAN member states and 3 out of the 3 non-ASEAN member states ratify the agreement, the RCEP will finally take effect. And they expect that it would likely be in the early 2022. So if we look at Thailand, Thailand will significantly benefit from RCEP agreement in terms of trade and investment opportunity. Thailand is the export economy, and our export constitute of around 60% of the country's GDP. And out of that percentage, 56% is to the RCEP countries. Our major export products are automobile and parts, oil, chemical, plastic and plastic articles, rubber and rubber articles, machinery parts, iron and steel, and electronics. If we focus on our export to the RCEP country, we have a trade surplus with all of the CLMV, which is Cambodia, Laos, Myanmar, and Vietnam, Philippines, Indonesia, Singapore, as well as Australia and New Zealand. So given that Thailand is heavily relying on the export, then I think RCEP will bring a lot of opportunity to Thailand. Also, RCEP will make Thailand the preferred manufacturing base in Asia. We really hope that will be the manufacturing-based choice for any foreign investment looking to coming into this region. We are strong in the manufacturing and export in the industries that will potentially benefit from RCEP agreement. And we have seen positive trade balance in the industry that I just mentioned as well. So I think from the perspective of Thailand, we really feel confident that we will be the manufacturing base for multiple industry under RCEP agreement. So if I move on to talk a little bit about Thailand, with the population size over 69 million, Thailand is considered the second largest economy in Southeast Asia, only after Singapore. We also rank as the 23rd of the world's major economy in terms of GDP per capita. We have enjoyed a constant GDP growth, even though in 2020, I think everyone got affected by COVID-19. In terms of the sector, we are really big in service industry and also industrial products. Thailand is very friendly for SME, and majority of the companies setting up in Thailand are SME, and is accounted for represent 99.8% of the firms and generate 14 million jobs, which represent 86% of the total employment in Thailand. And I'm happy to mention that Thailand is the 21st ranking in the world's Bank Ease of Doing Business ranking 2020. If you see from the chart, we score really high on getting utility like electricity. The ease of starting a business is, we received a high score too. And overall, I think the environment in Thailand is very friendly for setting up a business. Even though as a consultant, we BizWings will make sure that we can help you to make it even easier and as smooth as possible if you are interested or decided to do the business in Thailand. And why Thailand is an attractive option for foreign direct investment? First is our strategic location. We have excellent geographic location for the business and trade opportunity. We are at the center and at the heart of ASEAN, connected with the CLMV countries. We have enjoyed a constant economic growth. And also we have, the government has set up the Board of Investment, and the Board of Investment is mainly will take care of the investment promotion to Thailand. They have a lot of interesting measures to support the foreign investment that is coming into Thailand. And I probably talk a little bit about it later. We have a cheap and cost-effective labor force. Our minimum wage is only around 10 to 11 US dollars per day. Also, Thailand now is entering into Thailand 4.0. And Thailand 4.0 is an economic model that aims to transform Thai economy from the industrial and heavy industry base to the creativity, innovation, and technology. And we call it value-based economy. Thai government also just set up a EEC or Eastern Economic Corridor in 2017. The mission of the EEC is to promote economic integration across Eastern Seaboard. So what the government did is they choose 3 of the provinces in the Eastern Seaboard and call this zone as EEC. And the government aimed for this zone to act as a gateway to the region. And then there will be 12 high-tech industries that the government wants to promote to locate in that area. And the government also come up with a promotion, investment promotion through the BOI as well. So if I will talk about Board of Investment, the Board of Investment is the government agency which was established in 1997. The mission is to promote foreign investment in Thailand by providing information, service, and incentives. And for BOI promoted companies, several privileges may be applied. We set some example here. like the permission for the foreign investor to buy land. Normally, foreign company cannot buy land, only for Thai. And we also, the promoted company may be exempted from the very stringent visa and work permit rules. They can have the corporate income tax exemption for up to 8 years. And also they have the permission to own 100% of the company and still enjoys the BOI benefit. There are also deduction of utility, electricity, transportation costs for the BOI promoted companies, and also the exemption on import duty for machinery, raw material, and R&D used by the BOI company and production for export. So finally, if I would just have some key takeaways from my presentation, I think that RCEP will bring the significant economic growth to the region itself. And I think, as I said, the rules of origin will play a very vital role in increasing the trade volume in the region. I view this as the opportunity for the region overall, but for each country, I think both opportunity and competition will be expected. So I think it really depends on the producer or the business in each of the country on how they take RCEP and turn them into the competitive advantage. And obviously there are choices on where do you locate your business, but I really think that Thailand is a strategic location for business looking to reap the benefits of RCEP. And finally, BizWings can help you, of course, because we provide a one-stop service to the experienced professional that can assist you from the beginning. We can assist you from doing research, conduct feasibility study, and up until help you actually establish your firm in Thailand and operate your firm in an ongoing manner. And so my last word would be, please feel free to contact us. We'll be more than happy to help. And obviously we are happy to answer any question if you have. Yeah, so let me leave my contact here as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Aparat, for a superb presentation. It's really, really clear. And it's great. I wonder if there's anyone in the meeting who has any questions you'd like to ask. You can unmute and ask away your questions.
Yeah, maybe I have 1 or 2 questions. First, thank you, Aparat, for your presentations. It was great, very great, very, very great. A lot of information, useful information. Thank you. The thing that I wanted to ask is, what steps do I have to take to set a company in Thailand?
We got steps, right?
Yeah.
Steps is actually pretty simple. I mean, overall, you just want to bring any registration document to the company office, and obviously it covers pretty common legal documents such as associated article of association, or memorandum of association, or affidavit, or any commonly used legal documents to set up a company. And as long as you, let's say, understand Thai, actually you can do this by yourself. But unfortunately, all the documents must be prepared in Thai. So this often brings a big challenge for the foreign investors. So we often support these matters to set up a company. But the process itself pretty simple. It doesn't take that long. Actually, it can finish within 1 day if you can prepare all documents properly. So it's pretty simple step, and you can appoint us to support this matter.
Okay, thank you.
Great.
So, is there any other challenges that I can face if I want to invest in Thailand, except all the papers in Thai, for example?
The challenges, right?
Yeah.
Challenges are problems. Yeah, actually, I'm not originally from Thailand, right? I'm the foreigner who set up the company in Thailand and runs my business in Thailand. I think it's maybe the same as all the challenges, especially for the people who come from different country to move to another country to set up a new business, especially in the country which has a very unique language. Which, you know, the language in Thailand is Thai, which doesn't have a, you know, which is very unique language, I would say. And still government offices use Thai, and also they only accept the documents written in Thai. Some documents such as tax, accounting documents can be provided in English, but let's say tax filing must be in Thai.
Okay.
You know, and it doesn't necessarily mean that all of the Thai speak English either, or, you know, so you face these kind of difficulties, which means especially if you do the business in a country which has a very specific language, a specific culture. So actually, this is why we BizWings can come in. They set up a business. I think they run the business in their ways, but I think they definitely need a certain, let's say, helpers, you know, let's say Sherpa, to do the business in Thailand. So I, as a foreigner, know there's some problems, which might mean that, you know, it's not that always easy to have a business in a country which has a unique language. So, you know, I think we can support in this matter, and we know what the problem we may face.
Okay, okay, thank you.
That's great, thank you. Or Justine, you just have to learn Thai, I guess.
Yeah,
that's a great idea.
that is a great idea.
I could try, but I think it will be super hard.
They don't use alphabet either, so, you know, you need to. In the beginning, you cannot read from even number. Even numbers, they have a unique characters, which is very interesting part.
Sorry for that.
No problem.
I think Maggie, you have a question?
Yeah, I think our colleagues, they have done a very good job and a very wonderful PPT, and also very wonderful instructions for us. Thank you. I'm just wondering if there are many foreign invested companies in Thailand already, and usually what kind of service will your firm do for your clients? Do you have foreign invested companies, clients? Yes,
Great.
what kind of a service usually do you do for them? This is my question.
Thank you so much. First and foremost, yes, I mean, for both of Thailand and us, which means that Thailand is very, actually very heavily relying on the foreign investors. So there are many foreign investing companies, such as actually many from Japan, China, and Singapore too. And also other investors from the European countries also increasing too. And since I'm originally from Japan, so I support we support actually a lot of Japanese investors. Japanese investor means a Japanese company which sets up companies in Thailand. And we provide a pretty comprehensive admin service, which includes accounting, payroll, tax, company setup, and also we support the labor law, also BO application. We often provide a business advisory, which includes M&A, due diligence, internal audit. So we in general provide pretty comprehensive admin work to foreign investors. And as I mentioned, in Thailand, there are many foreign investors. So, you know, we can support a lot of kind of foreign investors in this country. Yeah.
And actually, we aim to be truly a one-stop service, which means that just you probably don't have any idea whether it's a good idea to come to Thailand. So you may first wanting to do some research on certain field, whether your product will make a good fit with the Thai economy. Would there be anyone who is interested in buying your products or something? We also do that kind of research too. So mainly we support you from the moment that you have the idea up until the moment that you set up your business successfully, and on to after that you can just focus on your business, and we handle all the back office for you. So our service is structured along the aspiration to be the end-to-end service for our client, so that they don't have to worry about the operation itself. Rather, what they can do is they just go on and be wrestling with that business instead. So yeah, it's pretty comprehensive on that side. But thank you so much for your question.
Yeah, it's very cool.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maggie. Aparat Jun, I have a question from someone in the UK who wants to know.
Oh, from UK, cool.
When they come, if they want to come into Thailand, how much capital do they need to have, and can they own a Thai company 100%?
Good question. So basically, let's ignore, if you have a BOI may have a kind of special regulation, but if you set up a normal company, basically minimum you need to have a 2 million Thai baht, which is around like how many dollars? 2 million Thai bahts. Should I answer in pound tip? 2 million Thai baht.
Roughly 50,000.
Just a moment. 2 million. 2 million Thai bahts equivalent around 65 US dollars, 65,000 US dollars, around 55,000 euro.
Okay.
And for British pound, around 47,000. Yeah, British pound. This is minimum for foreigners, because it's required to have a foreigner to work in Thailand. Because I mean, in Thailand, you need to obtain the work permit in order to let the foreigner to work in Thailand. So practically speaking, if you don't have a 2 million, you cannot have a, let's say, expat from your country to let to work in this country. So minimum, most of the foreign investors have this amount as a practically applicable minimum capital. And going back to the second question, let's say this is kind of partially related to her presentation, which means that as one of the privileges of the BOI, you can own 100% of the company, which means that yes, foreigners can own 100%. You can, as a foreigner, you can invest for 100%. But in this country, if you conduct service business includes such as maintenance or system development or kind of data coding, any not manufacturing business, pure manufacturing business, you must have a majority Thai shareholders, you know. But if you do the manufacturing business, foreigners can own 100%. But if not, if you conduct service industry, you need to have a majority Thai shareholders. So it really depends on your business structures. But as she mentioned, if you apply for BOI and this business, even though your business is service business, but if it's privileged under BOI, you can still own 100% of the shares of the company in Thailand. This is how it works.
That's great. That's super interesting. Thank you. That's great. I don't know if anyone else has some more questions. I'm sure people will think of questions maybe a long time after, when they've had time to think about it. So if there are any more questions, how do we get in touch with you? We can get in touch with you direct.
Definitely.
Directly.
So I share your contact details here, but also if anyone wants to reach out on the LinkedIn page of TGS, we'll share the questions with you. And if anyone reaches out over YouTube or through the TGS Global website, then we'll pass those questions on to you. And also we'll set up an article on the TGS website, which has the questions which come in. So any frequently asked questions or any questions at all, so that people can keep up to date with the kind of things which are asked. Because it's really interesting. During your presentation, there are a lot of questions that come up that you don't think about, and that notion of different industries have different rules, and there are different things we can do depending if we're manufacturing and stuff.
Thank you so much, Andrew, for
this opportunity.
Facilitating with
facilitating
us.
us. Thank you so much.
Thank you for taking the risk to do it. I know it's a lot of organization on your side, but it was fantastic to have the presentation, and it will be very interesting to see the differences between the countries in the RCEP, to see how we can work together and how we can help our clients and investors benefit from all these activities.
Thank you so much, opportunity,
so much.
and we are looking forward to listening to the other countries' presentations
yes.
too. Definitely,
yeah. And also, in our last question, can we share your presentation with people?
Give me a PDF or PowerPoint or something.
In a PDF.
Definitely we will do.
We'll send to you right after this.
Okay, fantastic. Well, it just leaves me to say thank you very much for taking part. Thank you to everyone who is here: Abdallah, Abby, Josh, John, Mikhail, Maria, Naoko, Justine, Maggie, and if there's anyone else I don't mention.
Thank you for attending too.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Yeah.
Have a good afternoon,
Okay,
wherever
have a
you
nice
are.
day. See you guys.
See
See
you.
you.